What's she doing?
Hey guys, so we're doing a husband tag video.
Yeah, we are. Okay. We're gonna do this. So the first question is, what am I doing right now? You are about to see me leave my wife. I'm about to go to the movies, and she's gonna be left here. Clearly, she's not ready to go anywhere, so I'm gonna leave her, and she'll be here to make this video with my belt. She's naked with my belt.
Amir, okay, wait, are you really going to the movies though?
Go blue.
Wait, Amir, are you really going to the movies though? Like, don't play with me, because if you're really going to the movies, then Amir, wait, let me just, are you really going?
Listen.
Amir.
I say no words. I'm all about action.
So sorry for that tease just now. I tried to get him to do the husband tag video, but it just did not work out. Amir does not like talking to the camera like this. He finds it a little weird, so I highly doubt that's ever gonna happen. Even though he told me if I stopped, asking for cats, he would give me one, but whatever. Okay, so I asked some people on Tumblr, because I was like, man, I've been married a year now, a little bit over, so let me make a video talking about my year being married. So I asked them if they had any specific questions, which you guys did, so I was like, okay, cool, this will make things easier. When I first moved in, it was an adjustment. Well, to begin, Amir and I had a fairly quick process. It went a lot quicker than I thought it would be, honestly. Because my father was really, he was like a strict dad, so I was like, okay, this is gonna take at least half a year. But it didn't. It took the process was like 2 months. Then I was like, whoa, I'm married. This is interesting. So moving in was an adjustment because not only was I separated from the opposite sex in my life, I worked, went to school, but I didn't hang out with guys. So being married was like, whoa, this is a guy. I could high five you when it's totally halal. We could shake hands right now. We could just make up our own handshake and it would be perfectly halal. This is legit. This is pretty cool. So it was nice. And then but the weird part was I wasn't used to a guy reaching out to hug me. So sometimes when he would hug me, I would flinch and I'm like, whoa, oh, wait, no, we could do this, it's fine. So it was weird. And then sometimes when we would be in the house and I like get in my own little world. So he would turn the corner and we would turn the corner, I would see him and I'll flinch oh my gosh, what the heck is that? And I was like, oh, it's my husband. Okay, yeah, I have that. Okay, Kamara, you have a husband. So it was something that probably went on for the first 3 months, and he was like, why do you keep on flinching? I was like, I don't know, I guess it's reflex, I'm so used to, a guy stepping up to me, it's like, well, you better back up, man, you need to be arm's length because you're just getting way too close. So being married, it was like, oh no, you could come closer, it's fine, we're cool, this is halal. So that was an adjustment, switching to, oh my gosh, you're haram, to, oh my gosh, you're halal. So that, it was a weird transition. In the beginning, it was slightly awkward because, like I said before, it was such a quick process that we didn't really get to know each other like other people do. Yeah, we had supervised dates, and he would come over and spend the weekend at my dad's house or my mom's house. So it was nice. We got to know each other, but we were never really alone until we got married. So it was okay, what do we talk about now? So I know you like sports, but I don't watch sports. So we had to find common interest, which was, it was funny because you find things out about your spouse and you're like, whoa, oh my gosh. When we found out that we both loved anime, it was like, whoa, you like anime too? I was like, yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, we're watching it right now. So we spent freaking weeks hidden inside the house just watching anime series, binge watching. It was pretty fun though. So trying to transition from being a daughter and a sister to a wife, it was kind of difficult, only because I'm so used to having my family there. I'm so used to having someone there, multiple people. I was never really alone. There was always children around me, so there was always someone there. So when I got married, I was like, man, this is really quiet. this is so quiet, like, oh my gosh. So it was weird not having a lot of people around me. And the silence was an adjustment. You know, it was making me like kind of sad in the beginning because I was like, man, I don't have my family here. And then I would like watch like Snapchats of them and I'm like, oh you guys, I kind of miss everybody. Like not in the beginning, but like towards like the middle of the beginning. Because in the beginning I was like, oh yes, I'm married, I'm away from everybody, this is cool. But then it got to, oh man, I kind of miss everybody. And since I don't drive and they live like an hour and a half away, it was like I only got to see them maybe like weekends or every other weekend. So that was hard, but I say the transition was fairly easy because when I was single, I did help around the house. I didn't really cook that much, honestly. My stepmom, she really did all the cooking, so I really didn't have to cook unless my dad was like, you guys need to start cooking, you need to learn to cook, so you're gonna be wives someday, blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, what? So I didn't really learn how to cook, really. I mean, I should have taken advantage of her teaching me something, because when I came into marriage, I was like, whoa, how do we make rice? So yeah, so the transition, it was like, wow, like 1 second I'm a daughter and a sister, now I'm a wife, daughter, and sister. So taking on all the responsibility of the house, I guess, and like, oh my gosh, like I'm the woman of the house, like I make some rules too. And it was like, wow, man, this is my house. It's just like, I mean, it's our house, but you know, it's like my house too, man. It's my house. I can make some rules too. So it was different. It was like, man, I could wash dishes the way I want to, and I could, you know, do things the way I want. I could clean up the way I want to, because you know, my dad was very specific how he wanted dishes washed, and he was like, when you have your own house, you can wash dishes your own way. So I was like, man, I got my own house. I can wash dishes my way. So yeah, so the transition was it was easy. So learning how to cook was, oh my gosh, learning how to cook was a real struggle. Like when I first met him, I told him that I didn't know how to make rice, because I wasn't going to, you know, pretend I was something I wasn't. I was like, listen, you pretty cool, you know, and I don't want to lie to you, but brother, I don't know how to make rice. Because we were talking about food, because remember how I said that how I made a potential, or what do you do in a potential video? I was like, man, just talk about food, right? And I wrote that down on the list, and I was, you know, thinking back. I was like, okay, what do I do? I was like, okay, food. Talk about food. We start talking about all this food, and he was like, do you know how to make any of the food you're talking about? And I was like, I know how to make spaghetti and lasagna and pasta, because I did, and I was like, that's easy. You just boil noodles, and then rice is just boiling rice. But that was really difficult for me. So yeah, so he was like, do you know how to make any of this stuff? And I was like, I can't make rice. And it's like, oh. But you know, alhamdulillah, you know, when it came down to me making rice first, it wasn't a disaster, but it was really like let me get some frozen pizza out and like cook that instead. Like I didn't know what seasonings to use. Like we didn't really have seasonings, and I didn't know what kind of seasonings to buy. And I was telling my mom, I was like, I don't know what to get. I don't know what seasonings to buy, and what the heck is like paprika? What is this for? So, you know, alhamdulillah, now I got my seasonings and stuff, and it's like, cool. I'm just gonna, you know, cook all this right now. So, alhamdulillah, man, my rice game is on point. Like, I can't make bread yet. Like, I tried, and it was a complete disaster. And, you know, because I don't have, you know, my stepmom supervising me. She would supervise me and tell me, you know, how to make bread, and I would make it. And I thought, man, I was a pro bread baker. But my dabo is nasty, and so is my injera. So, it is, you know, it's a fail. So, yeah. That, you know, I remember in the beginning I would make dua like, oh, ya Allah, please let me be able to cook better so I can stop feeding my husband this nasty food. Making my own life out of being a wife, like not losing myself while being married. Because a lot of people, you know, this is something my mom told me. She was like, don't lose who you are. You could be a wife, but also keep Kamara. Like, don't lose Kamara. Don't just become Amir's wife. Stay Kamara. And I was like, okay. I didn't really understand what she meant. But and then, you know, I found myself kind of like wanting to, like, you know, just like be that wife, you know, that what people think a wife is. And it's like, let me just be that. Let me do all this cooking. Let me do all this cleaning. Let me just, you know, make sure you're okay first and things like that, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I was just, you know, making sure that I had me time. And I think that's the best thing to do, like, have you time. So yeah. So how to keep a marriage enjoyable? I think that depends on people and personalities and what you find enjoyable, what you don't. Like me, I mean, we're just really chill people, honestly. So we like taking drives. We like, you know, going places. You don't want to stay in the house all day all the time, but even just going for like a little walk down the street, doing something together. Like take classes together, man. Like do things together. Like do things together that increase your man. Like go to Juma together and things like that. Like Amir used to he would be at work and he would come by, pick me up on his break, and we would go to Juma together, and that was really fun. That was like, I look forward to going to Juma with him. It was always really fun, but then I started working and I can't go to Juma anymore. But yeah, doing things together and switching up your routine sometimes. Just like, hey man, you know what, let's go to the beach today. But what do you mean, it's 60 degrees outside? I know, it's fine, let's just go anyway. So, you know, just doing things. So scheduled dates. We don't really schedule dates that much, honestly. As you see in the beginning of the video, to explain that, we just got finished praying Isha and we were like chilling, you know, and I had my laptop already on, and I was like, okay, you know what, Kamara, you're smart. Let's trick Amir into doing this husband tag video. Then, you know, he started saying, okay, you know, first question. I was like, oh, I'm so smart, I got him. And then he just wanted to go to the movie. So he just, you know, he doesn't give me warnings. He's just like, okay, Kamara, we're leaving. I'm like, wait, where we going? I know what. So it's like, yeah, we don't really schedule dates that often. So merging our lives together and what I expected and what I did not expect. Honestly, we didn't, I don't know about really merging our lives together. It's like we both moved to an area that we did not know, really. So he's from Michigan, you know, I'm from North Bay, and I moved to this, and we moved to the South Bay in Cali. So it's like, well, we don't really know anybody here, so it wasn't really having to merge our lives together, because when we got married, it was like, okay, this is our life already. So it wasn't like, oh my god, now I gotta merge it, because there was nothing that I really had to take with me. There was nothing that he had to take with him. I mean, I had to take like, other than like visiting my family often, but there was nothing that we really had to merge together. In terms of like expecting and I didn't expect, I don't know, I feel like I didn't really go in there like, okay, this is supposed to happen, this is not supposed to happen. It was like, okay, you know, this is a marriage, and you know, you kind of build up and you things just go with the flow. So someone said, asked, well, when is the right age to get married? And when you get married, you have to move in right away, and how do you know he's the one, and how to make the meeting less awkward. Okay, in terms of marriage, I mean, well, for me, for example, it was like, I was like, man, you know, it's a time, I think it's time for me to get married. So that's what I told my dad. I went up to him and I was like, you know what, Dad, I'm turning 19 next week, and I think it's time for you to go find me a husband. You know, a year later, I found a husband. But, you know, he's like, okay, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Then I wrote a list and gave him what I want. I was like, hey, go find me this. Turns out my mom found me that, but it's fine. After I told him that I wanted to get married, he already had the idea that I wanted to get married. So when the opportunity came up, you know, when I was introduced to Amir, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, you freaking looking at men, you're interested in guys right now? What are you doing? So it wasn't a surprise. So my advice to any girl who wants to get married, like, if you want to get married, like, even if you don't have anyone in your life right now, even if you're not even interested in anyone, you need to tell your family, so when the chance, you know, for someone to come into your life comes, no one's freaking out and no one's assuming that you're talking to them. So it's better to tell them now while you're definitely not talking to anyone, rather than when you're actually talking to someone, because then people start getting suspicious and start thinking that you're, you know, going out and doing crazy things. So if you have the marriage in the back of your mind, tell them now, even if you're not actually ready to get married, tell them like, no, I'm kind of thinking about marriage right now. So you know, I'm gonna keep my options. I want to keep, you know, that door open, that marriage door open, you know, maybe even the marriage window open. You know, I'm not making any promises, but I'm just saying I want to keep it open. So yeah, if you're having these ideas in your mind, you know, just you know, tell them, and like, honestly, make dua, like, yallah, you know what, when the time for me, you know, when it's time for me to get married, let me get married, you know, but just like keep the door open. So like, when you get married, you know that is the right time for you. Like, you know that it's the right time, because you know, you trust in Allah, you make your dua, so you know. So, I don't really think there's a really age in a sense. Like, I think it's all about, I think it's life experience, maturity comes into play, because I mean, there's some pretty mature 18-year-olds, but I think a lot of 18-year-olds are not ready. I remember at 16 I thought I was ready, and now I'm like, no, you're not. Sit down, little girl, calm down, okay? Go do something else and play with your dolls. So I thought, you know, at 16 I was ready, but marriage is so much more than just with being with someone. It's not like young girls are so, I mean even guys do, but especially young girls, we're so in love with the idea of love, and we have all these bays that we see, and it's like, oh my gosh, that person could be bae and that person could be bae, all these people could be bae and you don't know who's bae, and it's like, chill, okay? Then you see all these Muslim couples, you're like, oh my gosh, goals, I need a bae so I could be someone's goals, and it's like, calm down, let's just chill, let's just relax. And I think we kind of have two extremes here when it comes to, like, you know, someone being really into marriage and someone being really anti-marriage, and it's like, no, you don't need someone, you don't need it, you can do it all by yourself. But it's not about doing things by yourself, because yes, you can hug yourself, but eventually, you know what, it gets annoying. So I think, yes, I think everyone needs someone, and to say that you don't need anyone is kind of absurd, because we were made to need someone. That's human nature, to need someone. I mean, it's not, it doesn't even have to be like, you know, a sexual thing, but you need someone, you need that comfort, you need that love, you need that, you know, cradle. So stop convincing yourself that you don't need no one. It's not wrong to want something. It's not wrong to be wanted. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. It just accept your emotions, man. But just don't let bad marriages shape your view of marriage. I mean, like, you know, my parents were divorced, and you know, for a while I was afraid of, like, oh my gosh, I wasn't afraid of marriage, but I was afraid of divorce. So it was something that was like, oh my gosh, you know, it's kind of scary. But if you go into a marriage expecting disaster, then you're going to look for disaster, or you're going to create disaster that's not even there, and this other person's going to be like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're doing. And it's like, you know, just calm down. Okay, back to the original thing. So the right age, I think it depends on, like, who you are, how you view marriage, and if you're ready to make compromises. Like, sometimes you don't have to make compromises, but if you're ready for possible compromises, then cool, you know? Marriage is a two-sided thing. I know a lot of people are like this is a huge thing, husband's rights versus wife rights, and who has it better. And I feel like this is a debate going on, but it's not about who has it better, because it's equal exchange. Like, husband have certain rights because wives have certain rights, and wives have those rights because the husband has that right. So it's like, and it's like there's common rights. So it's like, before you get married, you need to look at both rights side by side and understand that this right is because of this right, and this right is because of this right, and they go hand in hand. You cannot separate husband and wife rights. Like, you cannot, when looking at husbands and wife rights, you cannot just only look at one. You have to look at both of them to understand why they are the way they are, and why, you know, there's certain rights. Because it's like, you know, both parties need respect and to be treated kindly and things like that. And it's like, you can't, like, how can you respect someone who's not treating you kind, and how can you treat someone who's kind who's not respecting you, you know? So it's like, these things go hand in hand. You cannot separate them. They have to be together. And how to make a meeting less awkward. First, don't overanalyze the meeting. It's a meeting to get to know someone, you know? That's it. You're meeting someone to be their friend and to be their spouse. But don't look at it like, oh my gosh, we are getting married. It's not a definite thing. It's just seeing how you connect. So you're just trying to build a connection, you know, you're networking, making, you know, building a partnership, a business, and then later signing a contract to bond you guys together. So so that sums up my marriage in a year, I guess. Funny thing is, people are like, oh man, when are you having a baby? You know, it's been a year. So come on, when are those babies coming? It's like, you need to chill, okay? You need to chill. I mean, babies are cute and everything, but man, after watching Dina's Tokyo's labor and delivery story, I was like, oh my gosh, that seems very painful, very, very painful. Oh my gosh. And I feel like I'm the type that would faint, like, oh my gosh. So yeah, okay, that is the end of this video. So my year in a marriage, wow, my year in a marriage. You know, inshallah, we're blessed with many more. You know, may Allah protect us from the evil eye and all this evil unseen and all these evil people. Oh, how to make a marriage enjoyable, which I forgot. Keep, you know, all the fitna out. Like, don't bring the fitna in your house. And, you know, 5 prayers a day keeps the shaitan away. So keep that shaitan away from your house, because shaitan hates marriage and he'll try to break y'all up. And you're like, no, shaitan, I worked way too hard to get married. You need to chill with all your haram stuff. So, okay, I have this heater on and I'm kind of hot now. I'm out.